Hello everyone. Today we're going to tell you some things about a project.
Our story was inspired and very much influenced by a lot of books, namely Magnus Chase, Percy Jackson, Ready Player One, Harry Potter, Hunger Games, Keeper of the Lost Cities, Promised Neverland, Cassandra Clare books, Divergent, Aragon, and Midnight Library. Our parents and other relatives also provided many ideas and suggestions about our story, as well as many other of our friends.
While writing this book, we faced a lot of problems. One of them was distractions. For this problem, we tried to use the Pomodoro technique, which has 25 minutes of work and 5 minutes of break, and this continues on in a cycle. Another problem was writer's block, which means not being able to write at a certain point, either because you're not feeling motivated, not feeling inspired, or you don't know what's going to happen in the story next. For this problem, we tried to communicate with our group members more, tried to utilize our breaks better, and went through writing prompts and dialogue prompts on Google. Another problem we faced was screen time. Because of COVID and the school being online, we already had a lot of screen time. So we tried to use the speech to text feature in Microsoft Word and Google Docs rather than just typing it out. Another thing we did was using phone calls rather than video calls. And we also tried to write in a notebook by hand and typing it out later when we felt like it. Here's an excerpt of our book.
He glanced through the curtains. The headlights of several cars were moving on the mountain toward his cabin. Near the horizon, he could see city lights. He considered himself lucky that he wasn't living in the city. They would have caught him immediately there. But since he was living in a cabin up on a mountain, he hadn't had to worry about them until last week. The envelope hadn't been meticulously white like he liked it, but it didn't matter. His records with the government weren't either. It wasn't as if it had been a surprise for him, but he thought that he had at least 2 more months to work on the book. He knew what it said before even opening it. Only some people other than himself knew that he was alive and in hiding. The letter didn't say much, but it didn't matter. He had immediately ripped it into pieces and thrown it into the fireplace. Not hesitating for even a moment, he had cleared his desk of all of his other unfinished books and manuscripts. They didn't matter. Only one of them did, and he wasn't going to die before he finished it and made sure someone else knew it existed. Since then, he had only gotten up from his desk for food and doing his business. In the glow of the candle, he settled onto his desk again. He couldn't risk using something else for illumination. It would just give away his location and end up with him getting arrested and executed. He hastily scribbled away, pausing only to flip the pages. It was almost done. He couldn't give up now. He couldn't let what he had discovered go to the grave with him. He put his pen onto the desk and slammed the book shut, tipping over the inkwell and spilling its contents all over the table in the process. But it didn't matter anymore. He clumsily grabbed his keys and put on a sweater, not bothering about avoiding it getting stained with ink. It didn't matter. He put the book into the inner pocket of his sweater. He got outside and then entered his jeep. It was going to make a lot of noise, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter anymore. Nothing mattered. Nothing mattered anymore. Nothing except getting the book back to the academy. The engine revved and the jeep started moving. He started driving towards the city from a different route. He drove furiously and recklessly for about half an hour and then stopped in front of a building. He pushed the doors open and stepped in. He ran, not without making noise, completely trusting his memories back from his youth. Sure enough, he found the library in a matter of minutes. He stumbled past all the shelves set in concentric circles to the last one. Pulling out one of the books and setting it onto the shelf beside it, he pulled out his own book. With trembling hands, he carefully put it into the space he had made for it, right in front of him. He stared at the shelf for a few minutes after that. He had done it. He wasn't ready to die yet, though. It felt like there was something more to be done. Because now what? He had written the book and ensured that someone someday would find it. So did he just give himself up to them now? No, he couldn't. That would defeat his books and struggles' purpose. They would know what he had done and what he knew immediately. No, he couldn't give himself up or go back to his cabin. they would find him anywhere.
This project was done by Anushka Kulkarni, Radhika Kulkarni, Samjnaa Kulkarni, and Saayanti Sharangpani. We hope you like it.